chilling with Larry Megan.
Well, we're chilling with Larry Megan on a Thursday night. Welcome to the show. A good Thursday evening to you, wherever you may be. Very exciting night here tonight. I got my friend Big Mike Davidson here. I wasn't. I had a great guest lined up, and but we're not going to be able to have her this week. She's going to be on next week, and I'll tell you about that. But so I was talking to Mike yesterday, and I said, "Listen, you want to come in and sit in with me?" And he said, "Absolutely." So, we're going to kind of kick around some old TV clips and things like that. And I love that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to get into a little bit of Sinatra, maybe even some Rat Pack stuff with Sammy Davis and those kinds of things, some old TV shows too. But so very exciting in that regard. Also, my old friend Barbie Rosene is going to rejoin us here tonight for the Classic Film Zone. And one of my favorites, it's an old time movie. It's because of tonight's show, I watched it again. I probably hadn't watched it in well over, at least a year, maybe 2 years. And I kind of had forgotten how great it is. Love Finds Andy Hardy from 1938, Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. We're going to get into that as well. She's standing by in New York. And I'm very happy to have Barbie rejoin us tonight. And tonight, at the last minute, literally maybe an hour and a half ago, I got a call from Mark Lister over at Zulu Time Zone, who, as you know, he helps to support us here at Acorn TV. He sponsors us, and I always appreciate it. Mark sells watches on his website, ZuluTimeZone.com, and he said, you want to give away a watch tonight? I mean, I'm not going to turn it down. So I said, absolutely. But I said, I really want to give one away next week, too. He said, okay, we'll give one away next week, too. So, Mark, thank you very much. He offered up an Android Intercontinental. And, Ronnie, if we can, I think we threw a graphic together at the last minute. If we can throw that up there, please. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give away an Android Intercontinental timepiece. You can see it right here on the screen. If my memory serves me correctly, that's a 47 millimeter timepiece right there. I remember Wing made a 47 and I think a 37 for the ladies. He had a men's and ladies version. This is the one with the Swiss ISO movement. It's got a chronograph movement with small seconds and a date aperture down at 6 o'clock, but a nice giveaway. Tonight, you can't argue with the price. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to basically take either the best question or what we deem to be the best contribution to the show. And there's different ways, of course, that you can, ask your questions or participate in the show. First of all, you get extra points for calling in. We want to get some live call-ins. We're out there. We've got Candy answering the phone tonight. So I hope, Candy, are you ready out there? Okay. And not you, Stace. I want Candy on the phone. I want Candy on the phone. And Stace, you help her. You show her what to do. Okay. We're training. Okay, great. And so we take your live call-ins. If you have video Skype, all the better. You can Skype us at Acorn TV or just phone us in at the number right here on your monitor. If you're new, we got a good crowd, Ronnie, heating up out there. If you're new to Acorn, please click on the Facebook button on the right-hand side of the page over there and like our Facebook page. We're going to put posts on there when our shows are, what's coming up on the shows. Now, I said next week we have a great guest, and I was hoping to have her this week. Didn't quite put it together in time. Her name is Sandra Harmon, and Sandra, man, big background on her from New York, an old friend from New York of mine, and I kind of recently reconnected with her, and she's into a lot of things, and she's written some great books, and now she's releasing a new book called Mafia Son. She kind of grew up around the mob, if you know what I mean, and she's writing books about it, and it's going to be incredible. She also helps, she's like a relationship doctor. She puts people together, and she's even working on a new pilot show for television out in L.A. There's going to be The Love Judge. Let's hope she gets picked up. I saw some of the, we're going to actually show a little clip of the pilot on that. It's pretty funny stuff. But Sandra's a great guest, and she's going to be with us next week live from New York. All right, so that's next week. Okay. Now, again, on the giveaway, on the Android watch, here's what you got to do. You're either going to call us, You can Skype video us, or you can send an email. You can question us, send a question by email to contact@Acorn TV. We've got Station Candy out there in the green room. They're taking the questions. They're monitoring the Facebook page. Or you can put your questions right on our Facebook page, and we'll have the questions brought in here to the studio. Now, if you don't have a question, since what we're going to do tonight is we're going to get into some old movie clips and old TV shows and things like that, you can make a request. You can say, well, you know, do you have something from Guys and Dolls or this or that? If we have it, and if I've got it in my system, and let's see, now we've done about 54 or 55 shows so far. You know, I've got a pretty extensive library of shows we've done. So we got a lot in the system. If I don't have it in the system, I can't do it. But if you want to make a request to see a song or a scene from an old movie, if I've got it, we're going to go ahead and we're going to play your request, almost like calling into a radio station, okay? So, you know, give us a request, give us a question. Any questions, or, you know, nothing is off limits here, okay, with me and Big Mike, and we're going to get to Mike in just a minute. But before I bring Mike in, all right, here's what I want to do. Last week on the show, my guest was Heidi Nessa, and also her partner, Autumn Stamson. And I met Heidi out here in Minnesota through a mutual friend, and, you know, I said I wanted to lose weight. I had let my weight kind of get up there to around, to be honest with you, 282 pounds, all right? 282 and a half if we're being, you know, honest, all right? So I really let myself get carried away, I guess. Or maybe I just wasn't as active as I used to be. You know, in New York, you're walking all over the place. Out here, you don't do so much outdoors. But anyway, Heidi's got this cleanse program that she markets and sells called Isogenics. Maybe you've heard of it. And a friend of mine who introduced me, he lost 40 pounds on it. So I said, well, that sounds great. I'll try it. You drink these nutritional shakes twice a day. And you also get one meal a day. You get like 400 to 600 calories, something like that. And I started the diet last Tuesday. And we're going to get Heidi on the phone here. And I'll tell you how we're doing. Do we have her on the phone, Ronnie? Heidi, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, Larry.
Well, welcome back in. Each week, what we're going to do until I decide I've had enough of this, because I am going crazy. We got a lot of food out here tonight in the green room. We got a full house out here tonight. You'd be surprised how many people are up here, Heidi. But you know, I put out a big spread out there, and it's tough. You know, I can't eat anything. I'm drinking my shake and closing my eyes and pretending I'm drinking a steak dinner, but I got all kinds of food out there. I can't have it, but I got to tell you, so far I'm sticking on it, Heidi.
Good. You know what? You're doing great on it, and yeah, you look great. Look at you.
Come on now.
I'm watching. It's muted. I can see you. I think you look fantastic. And you know what? You can eat, but you just have to pick your spots. So
yeah.
We do want you eating 5 times a day. Don't forget about that. But definitely pick your spots. But yeah, you know, the blocks of cream cheese, no, stay away.
Well, listen, you know, I appreciate your comments and everything like that, but I don't care, you know, how great you look. 282 pounds is still 282 pounds, okay? That's a little bit ridiculous. My proper weight should be 200, so I feel like I've got 80 plus pounds to lose. And what I've been doing every day is I weigh myself in the morning, and I come right in here to the office, and I type in my thing on the chart. I debated whether or not I should show the chart. I emailed it to you, I believe, 2 days ago. And we got it. Ronnie made a JPEG of it. Ronnie, can we show the chart? Now, Heidi, I don't know if are you watching the show as we speak?
I am. I mean, I'm a little bit delayed, so I can't see it yet. But I think it's great that you know, the accountability factor just for monitoring and keeping track, you know, and doing that chart and writing it down every day. I don't always recommend that people weigh themselves every day because you've had really dramatic results here early on, and that's not always typical. But yeah, it's fun to see. It keeps you going. Heidi,
if I don't weigh myself every day, I wouldn't be able to stay on the diet. I mean, that's my motivation. But it's also, I got to tell you, today was a very bad day. Yesterday, I don't know if those numbers can be read over the. You know, it might be kind of small. Maybe next time we blow it up, Ronnie. Okay, but if you look closely, I lost 2.1 pounds yesterday. But this morning I weighed on there. It was the first day I didn't lose anything, but I didn't gain. I was exactly the same this morning. So if you take a look now, in 9 days, I've lost 14 pounds.
That's amazing. And you know, we're doing this. This is a healthy way to do this. And so you're getting all the health and nutrition you need, and your body's just shedding all that extra stuff. So I'm not necessarily surprised that you hit a little 1-day plateau. We're not going to panic. How did your cleanse day go? Because as some of you, if you watched last week, we do 6 or a week of days where we're doing the shakes and the meals and you're snacking and you're taking about 1,300 calories in during the day, and then we do one cleanse day where you're just drinking what we call cleanse for life, which is still giving you the nutrients, but it's a tougher day because you're really not eating. How did it go for you?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty easy. 1 day a week on this diet, you have to not eat at all. And so instead of having your 2 shakes and your 1 meal, what you're doing is you're drinking 4 times a day this liquid stuff. You put 2 scoops of the powder in there, and it tastes like fruit punch or something like that. It's not bad tasting at all. The lemonade cleanse, which I've told you I've done before about 4 years ago, that stuff can get pretty nasty after a while. But this stuff tastes like fruit punch. And you just drink four times a day with water in between, so no food. Whereas on the lemonade cleanse, which I am a proponent of the lemonade cleanse, that's kind of what you do every day. You just drink the lemonade, no food every day. Here you only do that 1 day a week. And for me, it was really no problem. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm always tempted when the food's in front of me. I want to make a big, sandwich or something like that. But I think I'm to the point now after, 10 days that my appetite definitely has shrunk.
Well, and I think hopefully some of the cravings and things like that do as well, as you're feeding your body the right balance of nutrition. You've got the right things coming in. You're not craving those things that you don't have anymore.
Well, okay, Heidi. Anyway, I just want you to check in each week like this for 5 minutes.
Good.
We'll see how we're doing. We'll keep checking in. So last week, 282. This week, 268. Hopefully next week I'll be in the 250s for you. But also, Ronnie, can we give her a quick plug? Do we have her website pulled up out there? Let's see. Stacia, can we get Heidi's website pulled up real quick? We have a graphic for that, for more info, right?
Yeah, and with
what?
Cleanse,
yeah.
It's cleansewithyourfriends.com, and the idea being we're all together, and I'm a cleanse coach, as is Autumn, and so we're checking in and helping everybody because a lot of people are different, and we need to adjust things sometimes. But you're easy. You've just been able to fly through this, so it's
all
great.
Right. Well, I guess we're not going to have time to get your website up, but there's the web address, cleansewithyourfriends.com, for anybody who's interested in that. Thanks a lot, Heidi. I saw your new picture you posted today. You look like a stick.
Well, my sister's a flight attendant. She was boarding a plane, and she called me a Q-tip. So I'm sorry. I do have kind of a pointy head.
All right, Heidi. We'll see you next week.
Time.
All right,
you guys. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, so there you have it. Each week until I decide I just can't take it anymore, I'm going to do my best to stick it out and get all the way down to 200, or at least 220. All right, my guest tonight, my friend, Big Mike Davidson. The original Big Mike. The original Big Mike, okay. Great to have you here, Mike. Thanks for
good to be here.
Thanks for coming in, man. I
Story
appreciate
of my
it.
life, second best.
On second best to what, man?
You had to have somebody fill in. I'm there for you, Larry.
Yeah, but you're not second best, Mike.
That's
I'm second best to you when it comes.
No. By the way, I have to mention.
Okay.
Do people know the spread you have here, the palatial studios? You got a crowd out there and a spread of food.
Well, listen, look at right now. Acorn TV, it costs me a lot of money, as you know.
Wow.
And, it's a fun hobby, and hopefully someday we're going to make Acorn TV into a money-making enterprise. But until then, if I can't have fun with it, then what's the point of doing it?
Why do it? Correct.
Correct. So
got my daughter here tonight.
Yeah, I know.
Crowd full of people.
We do, and the thing is, I like to go shopping and put some stuff out there.
Thank
you.
But
it's hard when I'm on a diet.
You came out there and you said to everybody, "Eat! I can't eat."
Yeah, because I want you guys to eat it up. But I mean, when I go shopping for that stuff, I'm buying stuff as if it's for me. I buy the stuff that I like, that I would eat.
Well, we're New Yorkers. You're from L.A. Where are you from originally?
Well, I'm originally from L.A.
L.A.,
but,
yeah.
The
left coast.
But I spent 7 years in New York. So, and you spent, 30 years in New York, 40 years?
Probably close to 40, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I spent close to 50 years in L.A.
I miss New York. I went to L.A. once. If you don't have a car, don't go.
That's a good point. You got to have a car.
Yeah.
You got to have a car, Mike, in L.A., that's for sure.
And that was the one time I was on The Price is Right, but that's another story. I wasn't actually on the show, but every time
But you were on that one where you spin the wheel, too.
Well, I was on Wheel of Fortune.
I remember.
Yeah, so I was there L.A. twice. But I remember every time they'd call somebody down and Bob Barker was hosting the show. I'd stand up and high five him so I can get some TV time. Like I needed more TV time.
Yeah. But anyway, of course, you and I met through Shop NBC.
Shop NBC.
You
Very
know,
good,
that's
fun
where we
memories.
met. And the funny thing is we'd always see each other in the hallway, Mike, you and I. And
I'd wave at you.
no, and when we would talk.
Who is that guy?
We would talk in the hall. We'd talk in the green room. And I
Yeah.
always said, I want to do a show with you one day. And the funny part is you and I never did a watch show together. I don't know if you ever did any watch shows.
I did.
You did a few.
I did a few.
You did a few. But we always talked about, yeah, I'd like to do one with you. We never got teamed up that way to do that. We have a quick shot of you
Oh, no.
from your
Selling
shot.
a cert of bed.
From your Shop NBC days. You might remember Big Mike Davidson. You were mostly doing electronics.
I did electronics. I did Serta beds, Howard Miller clocks, a lot of the hard goods stuff. I mean, I actually started out doing jewelry when I started there in 1997. I even sold new old stock watches, Larry. You know, that was where, these expensive watches that nobody bought, original boxes. And we would sell them and literally thousands and thousands of dollars. And almost 13 years at Shop NBC. Very fond memories.
Yeah, and the funny part is, like I said, we never did a show together, but we became friends. And maybe it was the New York thing,
Fast friends. You're a good guy.
And so are you. And,
Thank you.
Since I've moved out here, you've been one of my better friends out here for sure.
You pay me well. No, I'm kidding.
I know. But anyway, so, one of the things is that we have in common, we're not really the same age. You're a baby, and I'm much older than you are.
No, not at all. Not much older.
I got about 5 years on you, Mike. That's
maybe
still pretty close.
3.
57.
54 in September.
Okay, so I got 3 years.
I look better though.
Yeah, well,
I'm kidding.
listen, 3 years ago I was weighing 220. So
Well, look at this. I gotta,
you should go on the.
I'm gonna do that.
Do the cleanse, man. I'm telling you, the Isogenics cleanse. Okay, now here's the thing. Okay, one of the things that connected us for sure is because we're close to the same age. We're kind of a similar
we're in the
generation.
ballpark.
You were in radio in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
I have obviously an affection for the old movies, the old TV shows and stuff like that. I don't think either one of you are going to be playing, 50 Cent in our. We're not going to find that in our car library. You know what I mean?
Right, correct.
Okay, which is fine if you like.
We love the classic music.
If you like 50 Cent or whatever,
Yeah,
you like
more power to you.
Kanye West or whatever. I know he's a.
If you're Kim Kardashian, you really like him. Sorry.
Yeah, but if you like that, then that's great. But in any case, so we do have that. So I said, listen, when you come in, why don't we do that? Why don't we go over some of the stuff that we like? And you and I started talking about TV shows. Now, I understand we have somebody on the line. Is that correct?
What?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
But there's one problem with our in common stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
We have a great love for classic music and whatnot, but I got to tell you, and he will argue with me for the whole night. I'm a fan, and I love all this stuff. This guy is a walking knowledge of information. He's going to tell you no, but this goes through one ear and out the other, and we enjoy the music, and I enjoyed meeting these people way back when. But I'm telling you, Larry, you may fake it well, but you know so much.
No, I really don't try to fake anything. I am a fan, and I maybe have a little more knowledge than some other people and what have you. But at the same time, by no means am I an expert. My sister knows way more about the old stuff. I actually got into it because of my sister.
Wow.
She took ballet at an early age and tap dance, and she was 9 years old watching stuff from the 30s and 40s, and I thought, my God, what's wrong with my sister? And then later on, when I got to be about 19 or 20, I started getting into this old stuff, and she definitely rubbed off on me. And now when I have questions or something, I call her. She's up in Seattle. She knows a lot about this stuff. And anyway, but there are people out there. I mean, you look at a guy like, Robert Osborne on TCM, and these kind of people. These guys are real experts out there. But anyway, we do have a common denominator here with the old stuff. And we were talking last night, when we decided to do this, about some old TV shows, and we were talking about some of the shows we liked, and I mentioned the Dick Van Dyke Show, and you mentioned that you had met
Morey Amsterdam, shortly before he passed on.
Yeah, now we don't have a picture of you and Morey Amsterdam.
We do not. We have a lot. I mean, I try to get as many celebrities as I possibly can. This was a golf outing. I was working in New Jersey at WHWH, and it was a celebrity golf outing, and tons of celebrities. And this guy had to have been close to 90 years old at the time, a frail little guy, but funny as all get out.
So what year? This wasn't that long ago.
No, it had to be in the 80s, late 80s maybe. I don't know when the man
Okay,
died.
right.
Yeah.
So late 80s,
Yeah.
you know, and so
That's a long time ago for me.
Well, that's like almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, 25 years
Yeah.
past the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because the Dick Van Dyke Show was very popular in the early to mid 60s. And, you know, for those of you who don't, you know, remember Morey Amsterdam, he was Buddy on the Dick Van Dyke Show. So just for fun, I didn't tell you about it. Listen, I just grabbed a clip off of YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the thing of it is, a lot of these clips on YouTube, the picture quality is horrible, you know.
But the message comes across.
But anyway, if you don't remember Morey Amsterdam,
Here he is.
I think we have a, let me see here. It's about a 3-minute clip, and we can even cut it short a little bit, Ronnie. It may not even be as funny as Bit, but he was always that wisecracking. He was a comedy writer that he played. If you remember the Dick Van Dyke Show, you know, Rob Petrie was the head comedy writer, and he had
Rosemarie was his partner.
He had
wasn't it?
Rosemarie,
Mm-hmm.
who was Sally, and Buddy. And Buddy was played by Morey Amsterdam, and they would write these gags for the Alan Brady show, and and Buddy, of course, Morey Amsterdam was always that wisecracking. He had all these wisecracks, and some of them weren't that funny, but back in those days, back in those days, the humor was different then.
Right,
you know,
yeah.
TV was still fresh.
Get away
and
with it.
Yeah, and they had the canned laughter and all that. But let's take a quick peek at that, just to remind us who Morey Amsterdam was.
The Dick Van Dyke Show. Starring Dick Van Dyke. Rosemary, Morey Amsterdam, Larry Matthews, and Mary Tyler Moore.
Very, very good. Listen to this. Now, it's the turn of the century, see, and Alan will play the part of Diamond Jim Brady, and he escorts the guest star on the show to Tony Pastors.
Oh, good. Hey, good. And maybe we can get him to do some money jokes like, he's so rich that...
He's so rich that he's even got a solid gold bathtub, and when he gets out, he leaves a 14-carat ring.
No, this guy is too rich to take a bath.
Too rich to take a bath?
I mean, a regular bath.
Oh.
He takes milk baths. That's it, milk bath. Oh, I got it. He ties a cow to the ceiling and takes a shower.
Look, don't worry, we'll get some good jokes later.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't say you wanted good jokes.
Look, buddy, the jokes are just a lead-in anyway to the barbershop number because 2 singing waiters will come out and join Alan.
Yeah, that's right.
Sal, you think we ought to run it down once?
Sure, I'll play.
Okay.
Go on.
Good. All right.
Let's see. I'll be Alan and you be the female guest star.
We were sailing along
We were sailing along
on Moonlight Bay.
on Moonlight Bay.
We could hear the voices ringing.
You can hear them
They seemed to say,
They seem to say,
you have stolen my heart.
you have stolen my heart.
And now don't go away.
Now don't you go away.
As we sing love's old sweet song on Moonlight Bay, on Moonlight Bay.
I hope I'm not disturbing anything.
No, I was expecting a headache anyway.
Come on, buddy, that's 25 cents.
All right,
Come on.
my pleasure. Here you are.
What are they doing?
Well, we have a new rule. Every time Buddy insults you, he has to donate 25 cents to charity.
You mean every time he has to pay?
Yes, and all the money goes to aid mental health.
Mental health.
Yeah, we're trying to discover a cure for baldness of the brain.
I get a copy of the sketch, Bill.
Hey, Sally, what'll it cost me to call him a big blubber-nosed baboon?
Oh, that'll run you roughly 75 cents.
Can't afford it. You're not a big blubber-nosed baboon. You're a small blubber-nosed baboon.
Rob?
Come on, Buddy. Well, Mel, is Alan ready to hear the sketch?
Yes, and I hope it's good.
Oh, it is.
Then I'll read it to Alan.
You are going to read our comedy sketch to Alan?
Why not?
That's like Benedict Arnold reading the Declaration of Independence.
No, I think it would be better if we read the sketch to Alan.
All right, I'll buy that. I hope it's funny.
It will be. Come on, gang.
Yo, wait a minute. You and Sally read, not him.
What do you want me to do?
You can... That's for what I was thinking.
Sal, will you get an extra copy of the script?
Oh, sure. Hey, buddy, if any of my boyfriends call up and propose, say yes.
Hey, what about Irving Fink?
What do you mean, Sure.
All right, so we had a little peek there at the old Dick Van Dyke show in Morey, Amsterdam, and so
He was a good guy. He was funny till the end.
He was a good guy, and since you had met him, I thought
that was nice of you.
I would surprise you with that a little bit. Now we had a bunch of pictures of you, which we shared on the last show. You were on about 6 months ago. I think it was in February.
Never mind me. What do you think about me? No.
But when you were on 6 months ago, we showed all those pictures. And,
Thank you.
I remember there was Pete Rose in there. There was
the Hit King.
I'm trying to remember some of the guys you had.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim was it? Tiny Tim. We pulled that one. And I only pulled 4 or 5 in here because
what's unique about him is you meet a lot of celebrities. And they're not the same people that you see on TV.
Now, that's in a radio station.
Yeah, it was WHWH in Princeton, New Jersey. I was there for about 7-8 years, and we arranged. Somebody actually on the production crew knew him and brought him in. Funny thing about Tiny was, if he was acting, he was a great actor. That was who he was when you saw him singing on stage. That's who he was off stage. Just the sweetest, nicest guy. Really nice guy.
And we've got you with Richard Belzer. Now, don't worry, folks. We're not going to show a clip of Tiny Tim. Although it wouldn't be so terrible.
This is in the 70s,
I mean,
late
look at
70s.
you look like you're a kid there.
I was a kid. I was in my 20s. And it's funny about that because, he's gone on to Special Victims Units. He's a great comedian, always was a great comedian.
What is Special Victims Unit? Is that a TV show?
That's what you call it. That's Law and Order. Law and Order.
Oh, okay.
So he's Detective Munch. But back then, he was just starting out. And I was there at that club, Catch a Rising Star, when Pat Benatar was starting out. And the funny thing is, you called me and I had just gotten in touch with people 35 years ago. They're probably watching right now, comedians and people that I've met there, because we now have a Facebook page, Catch a Rising Star.
Get them in
Facebook
here
page.
in the studio. I pay a finder's fee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a
bagel and cream cheese?
You get a corned beef sandwich.
Okay. But there's a thread on the Catch a Rising Star, and now it's a public one. It's no longer closed to anybody at Catch a Rising Star. It's a public one. There's over 200 messages on this thread about stories about when Pat Benatar first started there, when John Belushi walked in there.
You get one of them in here, and then you can interview.
I might get them on Skype. I don't think they're going to travel to the great state of Minnesota.
Why is people always have a negative impression of it? I love
it's not in the wintertime. It's negative. I mean, when I first moved, when I got the job here in 1997, it was warmer, Larry, on the moon. Okay, because it's so cold, your face would just shrivel up here.
Hey, Mike, it's not that bad. Listen, it's not that different than New York.
It is.
It's not. Okay, listen. I'm going to tell you something.
I love arguing with
No, seriously. 0 degrees in Minneapolis is
colder than in New York.
Feels warmer than 20 to 25 degrees in New York.
Really?
25 degrees in New York feels like it's going to cut right through you because it's a wet cold. Here it's a dry cold. It's crisp. It's not the same. New York will freeze your what off. I'm telling you.
When I first got here, Larry, I was so cold. I bought a very expensive car starter so that I'd look out the window at Shop NBC, turn it on, and in 20 minutes it was warm, and I'd run out to the car. Well, hopefully I didn't get, like frozen to death.
Did I say you were a baby?
You did.
I did. Okay, because believe me, I'm from L.A., and this is not that bad. New York was, as far as I'm concerned, worse.
And it gets hot in L.A. Real hot.
But it's a dry heat.
Good. Your doctor will appreciate that.
It's a dry heat in LA. All right. So Richard Belzer, now
great guy.
Which one did you say just reached out to you on Facebook?
Well, there's
are you reconnected?
Kelly. Well, a friend of mine, Ann Silver, and Kelly Rogers, and we're just reconnecting everybody. People are telling me who had passed away in the last 35 years, but there was no Facebook back then. What would you do 35 years ago?
I got an interesting thing for you.
Yeah.
Tonight in our classic film zone, we're going to be featuring a movie from 1938 called Love Finds Andy Hardy. And, of course, Barbara Rosene. Barbie's standing by in New York.
Awesome.
We'll probably bring her in the next 10 or 15 minutes. But in any case, there is a scene in that movie from 1938 where he has to, Judge Hardy, Andy Hardy's father, wants to reach out to his wife who's up in Canada visiting her mother who just had a stroke. And he's so worried about her. and everything. And they're in, I guess, Carville, wherever that's supposed to be, the fictional town of Carville, I think Indiana, or maybe Carville, Ohio, or Illinois, somewhere in the Midwest. And to get a message, it takes hours. They have to use a ham radio. And you watch that, and it's mind-boggling because today, you just simply send a text, and within like just a couple of seconds, you're back and forth. You can reach out. So it's kind of similar to what you're saying. There was no Facebook. There was no nothing.
How did you keep in touch with people other than?
It was incredible.
Think about it. Even before computers,
I know.
What would you do?
I know. And speaking of your celebrity pictures, I see Ronnie's got one queued up right here. And it's one of my all-time favorites, Jimmy Stewart. But
Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
Clarence.
Yeah, so here again, you're interviewing for a radio.
We are at Drumthwacket, which is the residence in Princeton, New Jersey, where the governor lives. Mm-hmm. And they were honoring him. It may have been Hasty Pudding Award. And see the guy on the right? Very dismayed look on his face. He was the guy that told me 5 minutes before the picture, don't put a microphone in Mr. Stewart's face. And I put a microphone in Mr. Stewart's face. You know what he recorded for me? He said, there's Jimmy Stewart. I'm not going to imitate him. And he says, what a wonderful life being in radio. And I had that somewhere on tape. Wasn't that very nice of him? Anything I asked him to do, he would have done it. That's how nice he was.
Awesome.
A sweetheart.
Yeah, great guy. I should have actually pulled a Jimmy Stewart clip, although we have some from the Philadelphia story, also some from I have them from Ziegfeld Girl with Judy Garland and Lana Turner.
There's a big story about him that he never went blue. He never said a dirty word. He was always a nice guy. You probably have heard that he never ever got nasty with anyone.
Yeah. Well, he obviously was that kind of a guy and a legend that he was. I like seeing him in the early days, although he was great, of course, in the Frank Capra classic.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life, absolutely. Now, I want to repeat real quickly here. I want to get someone to call in because we're giving away a free watch.
Can I have it if nobody calls?
No.
Oh.
You can't have it. We'll just carry it over to next week because next week, here's what we're doing, guys. Next week, forget next week. Tonight, we're giving away a free watch, okay? All you have to do to win the free watch is either give us a question or a contribution on our Facebook page, or you can send an email to contact@acorn.tv. Make sure we're monitoring the email box, Ronnie, for acorn.tv. Maybe some questions are in there. And if you call in, of course, we give you even a few extra points for call-ins. At the end of the show, we're going to determine who contributed the most. And even if you don't have a question, you could say, well, hey, you can make a request. Hey, do you have this? Do you have that? We've got a lot of video clips we can show you from different movies. We'll do that. But to somebody who contributes to the program tonight, we're going to give away this watch. It's from our sponsor, Zulu Time Zone.
Nice one.
It's an Android watch. My friend Wing Liang from Android is got a great watch company down there. He does nice watches. It's their Intercontinental. But you got to call in, okay, and contribute. So the number's right there on the screen. You can Skype video if you want, and we'll go ahead and we'll include you in the show. All right. Now, before we get to the Classic Film Zone, I said we were going to kind of reminisce a little bit. We were going to go down nostalgia lane a little bit. So, I pulled a bunch of stuff, maybe old TV shows, old movies. And I don't know, do you remember the TV show now? We're going to play a little bit of...
On the Spot Mike.
On the Spot Mike? Okay. Give us a side-by-side, Ronnie. Can you do that? Okay.
And by the way, this guy, Ronnie, Larry is barking all these orders. This guy is great. Where'd you get this guy from? He is
Craigslist.
He's got five hands.
Well,
seriously.
Honestly, Ronnie is doing the job of
producing.
He's doing two jobs because if you notice, he's doing the audio and the video.
Yes, it's incredible.
Okay, so anyway, it's pretty cool. But Ronnie helped me to set this whole studio.
So
up,
what's the TV show?
Well, okay. Do you remember a TV show called Hullabaloo?
I remember the name.
You don't remember who was on it?
Do not.
Okay. Hullabaloo, I believe, was around, I want to say 61 or 62. It could have been 57.
I was 3.
63?
I was 3, and I was born in 58. Okay. So I was 5.
What was that, Stage? What did she say?
I don't know. They're yelling at us. Peanut gallery.
Okay. But anyway, the old Hullabaloo show with one of my all-time favorites, Sammy Davis Jr., of course, Sammy was Mr. Cool, and we talk about. I'm a big fan of the Rat Pack, and in my old apartment in West LA, I had this monster, wall art. I mean, huge, like 6-7 feet long above the couch, and it was Frank, Sammy, and Dean in the picture. And at that time, I was living with my friend Daryl, and he's still got my old apartment now. That was back in 2003, 2004. And Hop, if you're watching, you remember that image. It's in my storage locker now. And I told you were Sinatra, and I get to be Sammy. I was always Sammy Davis, but love Sammy, great entertainer. But here he is on the old TV show Hullabaloo. Check it out.
And doing the Freddy, then you hear that beat, you suddenly dig. It's back here again for you, a brand new Hullabaloo, and it could be the start of something big. You're trying to do the swim, or else the what to see. You're surfing at Malibu someday after school. You suddenly hear a bell, and right away you can tell that this could be the start of something cool. There's no controlling the unrolling of the beat, my friend. A beat that's gonna take control of you. You'll have a problem if you wanna keep your seat, my friend. You gotta go, go, go until we're through. We're swinging again for you in living color. So come on in and dig this hall of a gig. You'll suddenly hear that sound, and you know we're around. And this could be the start of something big. There's no controlling the unrolling of the beat, my friend. A beat that's gonna take control of you. You'll have a problem if you wanna keep your seat, my friend. You gotta go, go, go until we're through. We're swinging again in living color. So come on in and dig this hall of a gig. You got me down. You know we're around. This could be the start of something. This could be the heart of something. It's Hullabaloo, and it's something.
Gotta love Sammy Davis. Something about him, actually, believe it or not, something about him gives me just a little bit of, reminds me a little bit of Prince.
I could see that. Yeah.
I mean, different genres, of course, but that kind of little tiny body and
the moves.
Yeah,
not the voice.
Not the voice. But in any case.
But he had a strong voice,
now,
Sammy.
from seeing that, do you remember that show at all?
I know the name. I may have seen it in reruns. Now, you say 63. I'm born in 58. Well, how old were you?
Someone's going to have to look that up. I didn't have time to look it up to actually see when Hullabaloo was on the air. I'm going to say early 60s, like 61, 62. Maybe even 59. I don't know. So
it is familiar to me, but I don't remember.
If somebody out there has the time, check it out. Find out for us, exactly, what years or years Hullabaloo was on TV, and let us know. All right, now, we're almost ready to go to the Classic Film Zone. I know Barbie's anxiously waiting by, Ronnie, go ahead and get Barbie on the hook. All right. Meanwhile, I've got Steve from Leonard, Minnesota. Steve, welcome to Chillin' with Larry Megan.
Well, thank you. How you doing tonight, Larry?
Excellent, Steve. I don't know where Leonard is. Is that close to Minneapolis?
No, you know where Bemidji is, right?
No.
Oh, well, I'm about 5.5 or 6 hours north of you guys.
Oh, you're way up there by Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, you betcha.
All right. So
I had I think I was just watching the Sammy Davis clip, and I was going to ask you a couple of other questions as well. But that fella could fly. You're watching him do this dance routine, and this guy could fly. And I have to disagree with you. He's more like Michael Jackson than Prince.
Oh, yes.
Excellent call. Well,
I'd have to take you there.
Yeah, the body control, definitely. So I agree with you in that regard. Excellent call on that one. I was just saying that the Nate, he's like 5'6" and probably 98 pounds. That kind of thing is reminds me of Prince. Although Michael wasn't too many more pounds than that, but he was taller. But good call.
Yeah, he was a definite good part of the Rat Pack in its day.
Mm-hmm. And when you say he could fly, you're not kidding. That particular clip that I just showed came from Sammy Davis singing at his best DVD, which is a great DVD. Go out there and pick it up for $9 or something like that, and it's probably about 40 or 50 minutes, and it's just great. But in that DVD, there's actually a clip of him doing Birth of the Blues, and it's probably in about 1954 or 55. And you talk about he could fly. I mean, he just easily just jumps up on top of the bar on just a running jump and starts dancing. Then he jumps from the stage down to lands on a little bistro table practically, which is probably not more than 30 inches in diameter. He like you say, he's so light on his feet, he just flies, and that's a good call.
Yeah, he's an absolutely fellow. But before you were talking about Dick Van Dyke and the Mary Tyler Moore and all that, she was the legs on the Perry Mason show in the beginning, the secretary.
Well, listen, Mary Tyler Moore, did anybody wear capris better than her? Last week I brought that up. We were looking at, oh my gosh, I can't remember what it was. What did we look at last week? It was something with Anne Margaret, and I said, does anybody wear capris better than Anne Margaret? And somebody said, maybe Mary Tyler Moore. I don't know. But yeah, she's incredible.
Do you have any of the George and Gracie Burns sitcom shows?
Actually, I have a DVD of that stuff, but I don't have anything loaded in the system. If I did, say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
And then she would say, good night, Gracie. I would love to show that. I don't have any of that loaded right now.
Because that was some great material back in the 50s.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I appreciate that. Anything else?
I think we all covered it there. Enjoying the show as usual.
Thank you, Steve.
You guys have a great night.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you very much. Good night.
By the way, Larry,
Yep.
Our crack staff has gotten some information. Hullabaloo, first episode, January 12th, 1965.
Wow. Okay, so it was later than I thought.
Yeah, and the final episode was August 29th, 1966.
Okay, so it was later than I thought. I thought it was early 60s. It was mid-60s.
Yeah.
All right. I was a baby. All right. So listen, we're going to go to our Classic Film Zone, but before we do, we're going to go to a quick break. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Barbie Rosene in the Classic Film Zone.
Chill with Larry Megan.
ZuluTimeZone.com is the first and only authorized dealer for Offshore Limited in the United States. ZuluTimeZone.com is proud to support Chillin' with Larry Megan and Acorn TV. Use the discount coupon code DAD to receive an additional $20 off per item. ZuluTimeZone.com digs Chillin' with Larry Megan.
Chill with Larry Megan.
All right, listen, we're about to go to our classic film zone. We're having a good time here tonight, reminiscing with some old movies.
Who was that voiceover guy on that last commercial?
That voiceover, of course, was Big Mike
What?
Davidson.
What?
Of course, you're known for your voiceovers. That's what you're doing for a living now, Big Mike Davidson voiceovers.
It's actually Big Mike Voiceovers, mic.com.
Big Mike.
Get it, Mike, MIC?
Do we have a graphic for that, Ronnie?
Big Mike Voiceovers.com.
We'll try to look for it. BigMikeVoiceovers.com, MIC.
Thank you.
And that's what Mike does for a living, and he helped us out with that one. But, you know,
hey, my
I
pleasure.
love the way you say my name. You say it kind of like my
dad. Your dad, yeah.
My dad used to
Larry.
say Larry. is chilling with Larry
Larry
Megan. My name is Larry. Okay, but anyway, that's
Larry.
fine. I laugh when I could have had you change that.
I know, but you said no. It reminded you
Yeah,
of your dad.
I
That's
know.
good.
I know that. But anyway, nice job on that.
Thank you very much.
He did that like Sinatra, one take. But anyway,
Look at Barbie standing by. Look how gorgeous she looks.
I know. But listen, before we go to the Classic
sorry.
Film Zone, I just want to remind everybody now, we're giving away that free watch tonight. And so far, you know, Big Steve, he's going to walk away with it. So, and I'll tell you what, if nobody else, calls in on the show, then Steve's going to get it. I don't really care.
Come on, beat him out.
But listen, all you have to do is make a request, call in, give us a question, and we're going to decide, or post it to Facebook, or email us at contact@acorn.tv with a question, and, we'll be bringing it into the show. All right. I think we're ready, Ronnie. Let's do it. Let's go to the Classic Film Zone. Welcome, Barbara.
Hi, everyone. It's been so long.
Yeah, nice to see you again, Barbie.
You too, Larry.
Yeah, so happy to have you back. And, we only retouched early this week as far as your participation this week. So, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And now all of a sudden you said you were available. You were going to help me out this week, and I appreciate it. Now I felt like tremendous pressure.
I would have been happy to partake of anything you had going on.
Well, you always are that way, Barbie, and it seems like no matter what I pick, you seem to like it. And so the pressure was on, and I went with Love Finds Andy Hardy. And I figured, oh, God, Barbie's going to think, there goes Larry again, another Judy Garland movie. But the reality is, this is only the second time ever in over 50 shows, and we're about 54, 55 shows now, only the second time ever I picked a Judy Garland movie for the Classic Film Zone. I know I always end every show with a number, but the other time was, and it wasn't that long ago, maybe 2 months ago, we did Easter Parade. I don't think you were here for that.
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it was right during Easter week, so it was a few months ago, and that was the only other Judy movie we actually featured in the Classic Film Zone. But this one, it was not really about Judy. It's really about a great series of movies, I think. And, I've heard them say, and I'm looking at different sources where they said there were 15, 16, and 17. I've heard literally all three of those numbers as far as Andy Hardy movies.
Well, I counted today. I saw 14.
14. Okay, there's a new number now. 14, but it's really identified as one of the great series of films of all time, if not the number one, making 14 or 15 different sequels, I guess, or a series of movies.
Well, and then these were good movies. I mean, you can make a lot of, didn't they do a lot of Blondie and Dagwood movies? But, really, who cares? Sorry, Penny Singleton. But, these are actually good movies. They're fun. I watched one with my mother when I was in Ohio visiting. I think in June, we watched one of the first ones where they go on a vacation to Catalina Island. Mm-hmm. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, and I don't know that one. I really now, because I watched this movie again this week, and I hadn't seen it in certainly over a year, maybe 2 years. And I forgot how good it was. It's very funny. And of course, the humor today is different than those days. But it really is a great movie. And now I kind of am interested in trying to go out there and buy some of these other ones, particularly the ones with Judy. Judy, I think, only did 3 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I think that's right from what I know. Yeah, but he had a lot of other starlets to choose from.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, well, take it away, Barbie. What do you want to...
I don't know what clips we're showing. Did you send me clips? Because I don't know about clips, but I can tell you a lot about Mickey Rooney because I read the book that he wrote about himself. And I can tell you a lot about Lewis Stone, who plays his father. What would you like to know, Larry? Would you like to know about we could talk about Lana Turner being in it. That's pretty amazing. She looks like she's about 12. I think this is one of her very first films.
You're right. Lana Turner, of course, it is one of her first films for sure. And of course, Anne Rutherford, obviously she's a constant. I think she was in probably 14 of these things, almost every one, if not all of them. She plays Polly, which is his kind of main, love interest or whatever. And I think she's fabulous. I think she's gorgeous. And anyway, so I did actually, send you a link and an email and all that. And I was hoping, I never did hear back from you, so I wasn't.
No, I watched that link to the information about the guy that was talking about film, and I've seen the film fairly recently.
But you didn't didn't see all the clips though.
I didn't see the clips. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
But I can go with the flow.
Right.
Totally. Let's do a scene with Mickey and Lewis Stone right away, because one of the reasons that this is such a great series is that everyone likes to see a strong father figure, and Lewis Stone certainly did that. And this is how he became known after having had a career in the silent films. Even this is where he made his mark because he was such a brilliant father.
Okay, very good. And the original Mr. Hardy was Judge Hardy was played by Lionel Barrymore in the first one. And then starting with the second one in the series, it was Lewis Stone thereafter. And this was the fourth in the series. This was the fourth one, Love Finds Andy Hardy in 1938. And as you point out, Lewis Stone, plays the father. And I mean, how would you like growing up? You're a young kid, you're a teenager and all that, and your dad's a judge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course, everybody in town, knows your dad is a judge, and he's the one that is the fair guy in town, and he's the one that issues the justice and everything. And you're a little kind of troublemaking guy or whatever, and your dad's a judge. And the first scene that I'd go to, I mean, there is a scene where that's a good call on your part, Barbie, to see Mickey and his dad. And Mike, I want you to chime in on this stuff and see what you think of it. I know you haven't seen this movie, right, Mike?
No, well, I probably have years ago.
Okay.
He's 91, believe it or not. Now.
Who?
Mickey Rooney.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah,
we got to get him.
90,
I know. Let's get him on the show.
He's probably out in Calabasas, California. If I were to take a guess,
he was living in Jersey too for a while, I think.
Was he?
Believe it or not.
Born in Brooklyn.
Yeah. We gotta go out there and try to get him.
Well, what about the scene where he and his father are talking about the car?
Well, absolutely right. But before that, that's what I want. That's where I was going to go. But I have a scene kind of just before that where Mickey, if we take it in kind of logistical order there or chronological order, as Andy Hardy, he goes to buy a car, and it's a quickie. It's only 51 seconds. But I think it's kind of funny and worthwhile showing. I'll tell you why. For 51 seconds, let's take a look at Mickey Rooney trying to buy a car before he talks to his dad about it. Okay, check it out.
There's $12. I'll sign a promissory note for the other $8.
Of course, you can't have the car till you pay the full $20.
Well, nobody pays cash nowadays.
Okay, then bring me that promissory note signed by your father.
Why, I can't make Dad sign a note because, well,
Because he don't know that you're figuring on buying this car, huh?
Well, sure he does. Well, that is, he just hasn't had time for me to let him know about it.
All right. No $8, no automobile.
Oh, look, please, I'll get the money to you somehow. But in the meantime, can I come down and do a little work on it?
Yeah, certainly. In a way, it's your car.
Thanks, Mr. Dugan. I'll positively have the money to you by the 23rd, because I need the car on the 24th. Or I'll be a social outcast.
Is that hysterical?
I love him. I think it's the funniest thing ever. And the price of the car, I love the price.
There was a lot of money back then.
That's why I wanted to show it. The price of the car, $20 for the car, and he gives him a down payment of $12. He owes him $8. I mean, I understand inflation and everything else, but still, I know it's 1938. $20.
No, it's fantastic.
And, you know, that's one of the fun things about watching these old movies is, you know, you can kind of learn about what our culture was like in our society. You know, I mean, that's, what, 70 years ago or 80 years ago? No, it's 70, 80 years ago.
80.
Yeah, I agree. I think of that too, and I think of the difference in the language and the different words we used. And in the 30s, they would say something was marvelous or swell, and I think we're missing out on a lot of great adjectives.
Yeah.
Back then, you were happy and gay. Back
Right.
then.
What
Remember
happened to
that?
that?
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. And it wasn't, and nobody would look at you twice. Today, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but you say that, and it means a totally different thing.
Yeah, you know, one of the hold on a second here. One of the phrases that's in that film where they use it at least twice, if not 3 times, is when someone is going to be in trouble, they'll say, you know, he's going to catch it.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, I'm going to catch it, or he's going to really catch it. You know, if he doesn't wash his dad's car, he's going to, meaning he's going to catch hell. He's going to catch, you know, means he's going to be in big trouble. You're going to catch it. So you're right. You do see some of these, you know, old phrases and things like that. All right. Well, now, you know, the next scene that I have here, you know, is the one that you're referring to, where now he has to, you know, he has to come up with $8 to pay for this car. So that, and he obviously he's trying to buy the car so he can take his girlfriend Polly to the dance on the 24th of the month. So he figures I got to come up with $8 by the 23rd so I can have a car to take my girl to the dance. And so he's going to try and hit up his old man, the judge, you know, like, Dad, you know, don't you think I should have a car, kind of a thing. So I've got the next scene in order is where we actually get to see, you know, Andy and Polly, and then after that, it's him and his dad. So you want to go right to him and his dad, or do you want to see the relationship there, Andy and Polly?
Well, yeah. I mean, if we have time, let's definitely see what's going on, because Polly has to go. Then we find out that Polly has to go away at a certain point. So let's see what's going on to begin with.
With Andy and Polly?
Yeah.
And remember, she's kind of like the main love interest, you know, of Andy Hardy all throughout the series, right?
Right.
Okay. This is his neighbor and his, you know, girl from school, you know, Polly, played by Ann Rutherford. And let's check that out.
Hi, Polly.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hello. You're 2 hours late.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry, Polly.
I have bad news for you. I can't go to the country club dance on Christmas Eve with you.
You can't go to the dance? Why, you've got to. You don't know the sacrifices I'm making.
It's simply impossible. We're going to my grandmother's tomorrow to stay over the holidays.
A whole year to visit your grandmother, and you got to pick Christmas.
Can't be helped. And me with a new evening dress. It's got a low neck and practically no sleeves at all.
Yeah?
It would have been fun going to the dance with you, Andy.
Polly, at the country club, there's a lot of swell little places where you can sneak out between dances.
Really, I think we're getting much too old for that sort of thing. Hugging and kissing.
I ain't ever gonna get too old for hugging and kissing. Besides, you didn't act no 90 years old last night on the porch yourself.
Why, Andrew Hardy, you kissed me last night by force.
Well, it's good that way, too. Look, Polly, let's get dressed and walk home the long way, you know, through the trees.
Andy. You'll take some other girl to the country club dance, I suppose.
Oh, no, I won't. There's no other girl I'd bother to ask. I'm going stag.
Oh, that's sweet of you, Andy.
Sit down, Polly. Polly, when I come over to say goodbye to you tomorrow, will you put on your new evening dress for me?
In the daytime? Why, that's ridiculous, Andy.
Oh, please, Polly, the one I'm not going to get to see when I go to the dance. You know, the one with the low neck and practically no sleeves.
I certainly will not. It might get mussed.
You mean I'm going to get to kiss you goodbye tomorrow?
Well, I will be gone for 3 weeks.
Oh, boy. But just supposing, Polly, suppose that just as I'm about to leave and I'm just about to kiss you, that one of the girls walk in.
And why do we have to be supposing that?
Well, what I mean is, suppose I kiss you now, and then we won't have to worry about anybody walking in on us.
I thought so. All your fine talk about taking the long walk home because of the scenery.
Oh, gee, Polly, you're going to be gone, and I'm going to be all alone. And don't you think a man can resist temptation better if his own girl kisses him goodbye?
Why do you want me to wear my new evening dress tomorrow?
Because I'm going to bring a camera, and I'm going to take your picture, and I'm going to keep it with me while I'm at the dance.
Oh, you're a darling. Tomorrow, Andy, don't forget your camera.
Woo-woo! That is darling.
Wow. Yeah, and you see that, he's all over her and he wants to kiss her, and she's kind of like, no, no, no,
No, he's got the moves. I mean, that's the right thing to say to a girl. What a great script.
I know, and she says, well, you kissed me by force, and he says, well, it's good that way too.
I know. Wow.
Little Mickey Rooney.
I think I'm too naive for this, Larry.
I don't think so, Barbie. Come on now, you don't have me fooled for a second. But listen, Barbie, we've got a caller on the line. It's Dennis from Bolingbrook, Illinois. He has a question about the movie, so I'm going to throw this right to you, and then if you can't handle it, I'll handle it. Dennis, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Larry? Big Mike?
Hey, buddy.
And Barbara?
Nice.
I do have a question on this series that you had here. I know at the beginning they were having problems with Shirley Temple and Judy Garland fighting and arguing over parts. I know, like Wizard of Oz, all that. Wasn't Shirley Temple supposed to be playing that part first?
Yeah, I think that they did want Shirley Temple, but I don't know why, or if she turned it down. I don't know if she really ever got to the point of turning it down, but she was definitely discussed. That was discussed. I know that. I remember reading that.
What I would say on that, Barbie, is, and I really don't recall exactly, but I seem to recall, and I could be wrong on this, but wasn't Shirley Temple with a different studio, and she would have had to have been on loan, I think. I don't think she was with MGM, was she?
I think she was 20th Century Fox.
She was supposed to be playing the same time on Wizard of Oz, and they asked her twice.
Right, but I think she was with a different studio, and they were considering Shirley Temple, but I think they would have had to take her on loan from another studio, whereas MGM already had Judy Garland, and if my memory serves correct, I want to say it was Roger Edens, in my recollection, that was pushing for Judy, saying, we don't need her, Judy Garland can handle this, and of course, Judy became very popular with, Louis B. Mayer with, she had done Broadway Melody of 1938, Love Finds Andy Hardy. She was already rising within the MGM stable. You're right, Shirley Temple was on a higher level at that point, but they, had great belief in Judy Garland. If I'm not mistaken, I think Shirley Temple was with a different studio.
Yeah, I think it was 20th Century Fox. But I also think they didn't realize that The Wizard of Oz was going to be such an amazing historic film. They just thought it was another film they were making. So it became legendary. At the time, it was just another movie, I think.
And like I said, I think they were really into Judy Garland as far as a singing thing. But you're absolutely right, Dennis. I think it was pretty well known that their original plan was they wanted Shirley Temple. I mean, Shirley Temple was on top of the world in those days, and Judy Garland, let's face it, Wizard of Oz put her over the top. I think it was Broadway Melody of 1938 that put her on the map, but it was the Wizard of Oz that put her over the top.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the same programs I was raised on. I'm sort of in your bracket here of the age, just a couple years younger, and these kids nowadays with all these cables and all that, and we were raised on those little simple ha-has like Dick Van Dyke and Mayberry, and those were the good days there,
Well,
I agree.
Speaking of Mayberry, you want to add anything on that one, Barbie?
Well, I am very sad that Andy Griffith has passed, and I actually watched one of his very good movies called A Face in the Crowd last night. But I grew up in a town that was sort of like Mayberry, and my dad always resembled him. So I really feel sad. I really felt like that was such a great show, and Don Knotts was hilarious. I watched every rerun. I've seen all those shows, especially the early seasons when it was in black and white. And I just feel like Andy Griffith was such a great talent, and he could do everything.
Yeah.
So I'm very sorry to see him go. I mean, he had a very full, wonderful life, but it's just an era that's,
yeah,
that family. And, it's kind of pertinent to what we're doing tonight. I mean, the Hardy series was the predecessor to, television series like that. The reoccurring family drama.
Yeah, and go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, the funny part, what you're saying there is, I'm one of those kind of guys that turn on like the Lifetime channel and just watch it all day, every day, because you like those true stories and all that, and that way there you don't miss any parts. If someone comes and disturbs you with a phone call or comes over, you can always catch up next week when it's on again or something like that. But the point is, whenever you're watching like Dick Van Dyke or maybe them are shows that are made the rest of your life, because I don't care when you watch and you remember about where you were as young as you were and what you were doing and what you got in trouble for, and it's all funny, and every time you hear them same jokes, you take it in a different meaning and you run with it, and it just brings you back, Well, like these new programs nowadays where you see them once, it's like, well, do we hit the record to see the next show or forget about it?
I agree.
But I got a question, Larry.
Go ahead.
Would this stuff play today like it did when it first came out? You see it on Nick at Night and a lot of repeats here and there. Would it be as big as it was then now if they put it on now in prime time? Anybody?
I don't know.
They'd have to spice up the jokes a little bit nowadays. They don't make clean, simple jokes like they did in Dick Van Dyke. Everything is
innuendo.
Got to have a halfway crappy language to it before you get the joke.
Well, I don't know about you, Barbie, but there is a TV show right now that I'm absolutely hooked on, and I DVR it every week. Are you watching by any chance Dallas?
Oh, the old
Dallas? No, the new ones. There's
the
a new one.
It's the new one. They just had episode 7 last night. It's the new Dallas. It's still got Larry Hagman. It's got Patrick Duffy.
Wow.
Bobby and JR. It's got Sue Ellen. It's got Linda Gray as Sue Ellen. You've got Charlene Tilton as Lucy. You got old Ray there. But I think it's great.
And it's doing well. They renewed it, I heard.
It's pretty awesome. It's on TNT.
Well, good for them. I mean, I haven't seen the new show. Wow, I didn't even know. That's fantastic.
But I hear what you're saying, Dennis, about those old sitcoms. And going back to your original question about Judy Garland and Wizard of Oz, one of the things that's interesting about this movie that we're featuring tonight with Love Finds Andy Hardy is we're seeing Judy Garland over a year before Wizard of Oz in here. She plays Betsy Booth. She's the kind of the next door neighbor. She's the granddaughter of the next door neighbor of the Hardys. And so she's like the little kid, and Mickey's a couple years older than her. And she, has this big crush on Andy Hardy. But we see Judy, she's actually 15 years old when they filmed this. She was 16 when they filmed Wizard of Oz. So it's, we haven't shown Judy yet in this picture. I don't know if you've seen this one, Dennis, but I always like to kind of use Wizard of Oz as a dividing point for Judy. Oh, this was 3 years after Wizard, or 5 years after Wizard, or a year before year. It's kind of that dividing point in her career. But this one here is about a year before.
Cool.
Yeah, I also think that it's, you have to remember that Judy Garland was on stage as a very tiny child, too. I mean,
yes.
Shirley Temple was just famous, but Judy Garland had an act with her sisters and was on the stage and touring when she was like 2 years old, just like Shirley.
Yeah, and of course the singing pipes, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dennis, thanks so much for your contribution. A great phone call, a great question. We've got you in the hunt now for the watch, so stay tuned toward the end of the show. We're going to give away a free watch tonight. Anybody watching the show right now, remember, we're giving away a free watch tonight. All you got to do is call in, ask a question, or email a question to contact at Acorn TV, and, you'll be in the hunt if we use your question, and the best question, the most participation, we're gonna give away this watch. It's from Android, compliments of ZuluTimeZone.com. So...
I watch you guys on that other channel all the time. Actually, I'm watching that at the same time I'm talking to you of all your little watches stuff. I've talked to you before on your chat there on Facebook about one of the things I purchased off you. But
cool.
I'll catch you on there sometime. I just thought I'd throw in that Miss Black stuff in there because people forget about her, And
no, she's a great
one. I remember growing up with these programs as well as you talking about them, so you sort of like bring me back down to my size. So, and the diet, I meant to say something before you got off that diet thing. I've lost over 100 pounds
awesome.
in the last couple of years, and all I did was say no to anything white. Just keep that under your hat.
Like,
so, have a good night and all that
I like
stuff.
that.
I'm just
Dennis.
continuing watching you all, and Big Mike sort of miss you on that other channel there.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll see you again filling in somewhere.
I hope
Be
so.
good.
That's kind of you. Thank you.
Dennis,
Bye, Dennis.
thank you for the call, and that's a great tip on the diet. Thank you, and way to go, lose over 100. You know, I don't think I've got
and
that
one
far.
more thing. That other lady you're talking to is right. Don't weigh yourself all the time because there's going to be a point you're going to freeze for about a month to 6 weeks, and you're going to get disappointed, and that's when you start to snack, and that's when you screw up because one time you're going to get up. I was doing it every other week,
okay.
But one time you get up, and all of a sudden 15 pounds is gone.
Oh,
so
jeez.
Don't be scaling yourself all the time because you will start munching.
I don't do it all the time. I do it once a day in the morning when I wake up. That's
all
it.
the time.
That's all right.
All right.
I'll
Cut
take
back on that,
Yeah,
Larry.
just
Well,
do it once a week or once every other week so you don't get disappointed because you will hit that freeze spot for a while.
Okay.
So have a good night.
Thanks,
Take
Dennis.
care, buddy.
Thank you, Dennis.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Good call. Good call. Thanks so much. Excellent question. Excellent call. You know, I've got to probably add some Shirley Temple to my collection. And you know, Dennis was talking about Barbie, how he likes to watch a certain channel where he can watch all these old movies all the time. And you know, I do that too a little bit. I'll watch TCM and stuff like that. But honestly, I like buying them. I like buying them. I have a whole library here, and I've got a case with lights in it and everything. And I put little memorabilia in there and stuff like that. You know, for $10 or $15 or even $20 on some of the more expensive ones. You know, not millions of people, but literally hundreds of people put their lives into making these things, if not thousands. And you get it on a little disc for $10. It's amazing. It's part of our history and culture. I like having it in the case, even if I only watch it one time. And also having those special features is incredible.
But Larry, if I can chime in here, before I knew that you did this,
Yeah.
for somebody out there that is not into it as much as we might be, this is a great show to get little snippets of stuff here and there. And you get people, my 12-year-old is out there, and before I got involved in it and listened to you, now I'm getting involved in it. She's looking at it. You're spreading this around. People didn't even know this existed before, these old movies. So you're in your own little way, you're bringing this to people that may not have ever seen it before or want to see the whole movie.
Well, that's kind of what
DVD.
you know. That's kind of what we're all about here at Acorn, is because I love this stuff, is perpetuating it. But that's one of the things I love so much about having Barbie on the show, because she knows so much more than I do, and I'm just a fan. It's true, Barbie. It's fun to have you here because what I don't know, I can go to you, and you can help me out with that. But
I just think his comment was, his comment and your comment too make me think that it's comforting. He feels comforted because he can see these shows over and over, and they remind him of a time, and they remind us of things. And to be able to have them and play them when you want to, and go back to that time or see something new in it too. I think it's, we don't have a lot of things we can count on anymore.
You know what's kind of fun, Barbie? I know you've got a steady boyfriend and everything. You've got a significant other in your life and everything.
Oh, darn. No,
but, for me, me, Barbie, honestly, I've kind of dated a few different women or whatever, and I don't have that one, go-to person at this moment. But, date this girl, that girl, whatever. And, until you finally, hook up or whatever to the right person. But what I'm saying is, when you kind of date different women, and then, you show them your library and stuff, it's kind of fun to kind of, you know what I'm saying, Barbie?
Yeah,
it's
I
kind
do.
of, it's kind of fun to turn them on to this stuff. They go, oh, I didn't see, and then they love it. And I'm watching these things over again. I'm re-indoctrinating myself to these things I've seen a bunch of times.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you've done that too?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my litmus test was It Happened One Night or The Thin Man, both of which, we've talked about.
Yeah.
If a guy didn't like those, see you later.
I don't really have a litmus test, honestly, but that's pretty funny. I mean, obviously I would like if, the lady in my life kind of digs this old stuff, and usually most of them do, I will say that, the Italian girl I had up there, from Staten Island, the one in New York, and we're still good friends now. We went out for about 3 years. She could care less about this old stuff. I'm going to tell you right now. She'd put her little, iPod in her ears, and we'd be on driving trips, and I'm listening to, Chet Baker or Sinatra or whoever. I'm Nat King Cole, and she's doing her, her modern stuff and everything. And it was great, but she's one of the few that really, wasn't into this kind of old stuff. So it's kind of nice if they are. But, then again, if you kind of like, it doesn't work out, and then you break up, and then you got to break a new one in again, then you start all over again. Oh, you've been there?
I know.
You've been there?
Oh, yeah, I've totally been there. And then you couple that with the music that I do.
Gosh, I love your music. Maybe
the
we should...
guys I play with, they are always talking about having to introduce their dates to 1920s music and Dixieland music and how that's a real turn on.
You know what? Let's show a quick bar. I mean, we're gonna I know we're still gonna finish. The classic film zone. We're still gonna finish, of course. Love Finds Andy Hardy. But Ronnie, you think you could find a clip? And we don't have to show a full 5-6 minutes of Barbie, but just for those out there that don't know Barbie, Rosene, she's of course. Are you still singing with the Harry James Orchestra?
I am. I am a lot. I'm on a little break from them. I actually am waiting to hear about a cruise that I'll be going on with my own little band, with my own little trio. In August. So yeah, I'm out there.
Yeah, wait a minute. Before you go to that one, Ronnie, that's kind of a general one. See if there's another one in there from the Iridium. See if she got another one here. Ronnie's going to pull something up. We're going to let people get just a flavor of your singing. Now, of course, Barbie sings for the Harry James Orchestra. She's a jazz singer, but there's a lot of jazz singers that might even do the standards and what have you that are more from the, like, say, 40s and 50s. But Barbie likes to go, and she does that too, but Barbie likes to go all the way back to the 20s.
Yeah, there's a couple of things from the Iridium. And then I'm doing a concert like that on Saturday night with a lot of great old tunes. And I just finished a new CD that has a lot of 20s and 30s music, double entendre songs, kind of blues songs. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, no, Ronnie, find another one. Let's see. Ronnie's going to pull one up
Poor
here.
Ronnie.
No, we're going to find another one here.
Ronnie's tap dancing.
Let's see what you got, Ronnie. Yeah, Bluebirds. How about Bluebirds? That's a good one.
Sure.
They're all good, but just summer's like much longer. And we won't show the whole thing, but I want everybody to get a little flavor of Barbie Rosene. Check it out.
Thanks, Larry.
Oh, come on, Barbie. I just wanted to give people, I wanted to give them a little bit of a flavor, Barbie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, pretty hot stuff. Well, I'm ready to see some new stuff, Barbie.
Yeah, I'm working on it, believe me.
Okay. Getting back now, we just, going back to, of course, Love Finds Andy Hardy. We saw a little bit of Andy Hardy and Polly, his main love interest, and she just told him, even though he's making arrangements to buy a car to take her to the dance, she just informed him that she has to go away. It's a Christmas dance, and her family's taking her away on a trip, and she can't go. And now he's into getting this car, and he's got to come up with $8. So he's going to talk to his dad about it. And this was the scene I think you were asking for, Barbie.
Right.
Let's check it out.
Hello, Andy.
Oh, hello, Dad. Just thinking, Dad, it's a wonderful age we live in. Airplanes, for instance. They didn't have airplanes when you were a boy, did they?
Oh, I was quite grown when men began to fly.
They didn't even have automobiles, did they?
No,
When you were young, everybody used to ride horses.
that's so.
Did you have your own horse?
Yes, indeed I did.
That's fine. Now, today everybody rides in automobiles.
No, not everybody.
Oh, no, maybe not everybody, maybe not children, but look here, Dad, I'm not a child anymore, and, well, a fellow's just got to have a car.
Does he?
Yes, sir. Look, I was casually discussing the used car business with Mr. Peter Dugan, and he thought that...
Yes, he agrees that every young man should have a car, huh?
Yes, sir. Oh, look, there's a peach of a little job down there for $20.
Dollars.
And I thought that maybe a few might help.
Now, Andy, we've been over this before. On several occasions, in emergencies, you've driven the sedan. You drive very well, though goodness knows where you ever learned. Now, when you're 16 years old, I'm going to allow you to take the car out. One night a week. That way, I'll have some control over the situation.
Gee, Dad, other fellas have cars. Don't you think I've got as much sense as the other kids in this town?
I think you got a lot more, son, but I've got to decide this. Now, when you can pay cash for a car out of your own money, well, that's something else again.
Well, don't you believe in buying on the partial payment plan?
No. Not unless you have an assured income of your own. But come on home. Dinner's ready.
Oh, look, Dad, I'm going to buy some film. Polly wants me to take her picture. You know how girls are.
Emily, times have changed. Today, no woman should be tied to her kitchen.
Wow.
I think that's hysterical. One of the scenes that we didn't see before this, Barbie, was where when the movie first opens up, you see Judge Hardy in action, and he actually issues a sentence against little Jimmy, that's Andy's friend, and because the kid, I guess he stole a car and he crashed a tractor or something like that. And then, so he issues a sentence against him for he's got to pay $30 or something like that. And then we see another scene, immediately follow that in Chambers, where one of the ladies of the community owes a store like $30 for a radio, and she can't pay it. That's fine, you'll get her back, but she can't pay it. And so he says, well, here's what we'll do. He says, you start cooking for your husband, and instead of paying your cook, you can, you have your husband pay you, and then you'll have the money to pay Mr. So-and-so for the radio. And because Judge Hardy doesn't want to, get her in any serious trouble as far as, with creditors and things like that. So she says, well, that's not really fair to our cook. Augusta's been with us for so many years, and she's going to be out of a job. He says, no. I want you to send Augusta over to our house. My wife has cooked every meal for me for the last 30 years or 25 years, and she shouldn't be cooking anymore. So I don't want her to keep cooking. And we'll pay her, we'll give her a job. So, then it cuts from there to Judge Hardy's wife, Emily Hardy, played by Faye Holden. And she's talking to her sister, Aunt Millie, saying that if I don't cook dinner for Mr. Hardy, for her husband, he won't eat anything that isn't cooked by my hands. And he's dying to have somebody else cook, but she's saying I have to cook for him because he won't eat anybody else's cooking. So that's kind of the little thing. And so what we just saw right there was we saw him kind of practicing his speech. He's going to go home because he knows that the maid cook is going to be coming over to his house to start work the next day. So he's practicing, Emily, and he's practicing to himself how he's going to tell his wife that she doesn't need to cook anymore. And it's kind of, everything about this is pretty funny.
Well, the cook, do you hear, am I with you?
Yeah,
I cut out for a minute. The cook is played by Marie Blake, who was actually Jeanette MacDonald's sister in real life. Did you see that?
Say that again?
Do you know Jeanette MacDonald, the opera singer
Yes,
who made all the musicals?
Yeah, and Jeanette MacDonald and what is it, Eddie?
Nelson Eddy.
Nelson Eddy, right.
So the woman playing the cook is named Marie Blake, and she is Jeanette MacDonald's sister in real life. And later, Marie Blake went on to play Grandmama on The Addams Family on TV.
Yes, I did hear that. Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. It is. And she does a great job in this movie, too, when a little bit later, we're not going to show these scenes, so I'm not spoiling anything here, but the mother, has to go up to Canada right before Christmas because her mother had a stroke.
Yes.
And so somebody has to, kind of take care of the house and everything. So the daughter, Andy's older sister, makes coffee and food, and the food is terrible, the coffee is terrible. And when the new cook comes in, and of course, Judge Hardy and even Andy, they're trying to make, Judge Hardy's trying to make his daughter feel good, and Andy's trying to make his sister feel good. So, oh, the coffee's great, and behind her back, they're like, oh my God, they want to spit it out. It's like horrible.
I know.
And then when Augusta comes in, the cook, she says, it's mud. I quit. If you think this is good coffee, I'm quitting. I'm not going to work here. She's hysterical. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's cute.
It really is.
Good bit.
All right, so it was kind of clever right there how Andy's trying to talk his dad into, allowing him a car. He said, Dad, when you were a kid, they didn't even have cars. They had horses. I bet everybody had a horse. So nowadays, every kid should have a car. And, of course, Judge Hardy wasn't, really biting on it.
No, he's not buying that. He already knew it was a ploy. He knows everything. But it was a good try.
Yeah, it was a good try, Barbie. Well, obviously one of the appeals for this movie for me, of course, is that Judy Garland is in it. I think this was the third or fourth movie she had already done with Mickey Rooney, because I know she did Thoroughbreds Don't Cry. Maybe it was the second movie she did with Mickey. She obviously had great chemistry with Mickey Rooney. He's 2 years older than her, but they were both a couple of kids that grew up from the time they were babies on the stage. And Mickey kind of took her under his wing, and they teamed them again here in Love Finds Andy Hardy. And here she plays that role of the neighbor, Betsy Booth. And,
I know. She's so cute. Can I read you a quote that Mickey Rooney said about her?
Yeah, absolutely.
He said, Judy and I were so close we could have come from the same womb. It's very, very difficult to explain the depths of our love for each other. It was so special. It was a forever love. Judy, as we speak, has not passed away. She's always with me in every heartbeat of my body.
Yeah, that's a great quote. Thank you, Barbie. I remember seeing somewhere, it was either on a video or something like that, of Liza Minnelli saying that when her mom passed away, she didn't even want to tell Mickey Rooney because she knew he would be devastated.
Yeah.
That Judy had passed, and because they were so close. It's kind of amazing that they didn't really ever get married, or I think all of America was rooting for them to get married. They were the little darlings of America, Mickey and Judy.
Yeah, they were in Babes in Arms in 1939 then. I think that's the movie you were trying to think of.
Right, Babes in Arms, of course, of Busby Berkeley, and of course they did Babes on Broadway, they did Strike Up the Band, and they did Girl Crazy as well. But those four movies
Girl Crazy.
Yeah, I love Girl Crazy in 1943, but those four movies, of course, were not part of the Andy Hardy series.
Right.
But anyway, and they did Words and Music?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, too. But, all right, so anyway, I think we should at least finally show a clip. It's 1 minute long just to introduce Betsy Booth, don't you think?
Yeah, Betsy Booth, definitely.
All right, let's meet Betsy Booth. Here she is.
Excuse me. Could you tell me where number 27 is, please?
Right next door.
Is it the Draper house?
Right you are, young lady. I don't know if anyone's home.
Oh, they'll be home all right. They're expecting me. Mr. and Mrs. Draper are my grandparents.
Well. So you're Betsy Booth, Martha Draper's baby.
I've come to Grandma's for Christmas. Mother's doing a musical comedy in Chicago. I'm going to be on the stage, too, when I grow up. I'm studying for it.
I hope you'll be a bigger success than your mother. So we're going to be neighbors, eh? I'm Judge Hardy.
Oh. Is Andy Hardy your son?
Well, I have heard something to that effect.
Grandma always writes about him. Oh, he's so polite, and he's always running her errands for her. She says he's the nicest boy in the neighborhood. Christmas with Andy Hardy next door.
I hope you won't be disappointed.
Oh, I won't. Well, goodbye, Judge Hardy. For now.
Goodbye. Don't forget, we're neighbors.
Well, as you said, Barbie, she's absolutely darling.
They're both darling. And he doffs his hat to her. I mean, and his overcoat. Look how he's dressed. What happened to that?
Yeah, well, that's another thing about these old movies, Barbie, is that the men are always in like suits and tuxes and ties, and even the kids in high school are wearing ties, and it's a different, just a different era. But anyway, so we now know that, Betsy Booth, she's, I guess, visiting for Christmas, and she's staying with her grandmother right next door. And her grandmother has written to her what a great kid this Andy Hardy is. I guess Andy Hardy does favors for the grandmother and everything. But he is in high school, so he's older than her. And what happens next in the movie, we're going to skip a little bit, but without going into it, we're going to miss some great scenes here. You should go out and get this movie. But if you recall, the telegram comes, and Mrs. Hardy, she gets nervous when she sees a telegram, because it can only be bad news, she feels. And it turns out that her mother had a stroke. They're up somewhere in Canada somewhere. And she has to leave the family at Christmas time to go running up there to see her mother, catch the next flight out of town, basically. And she took her sister, which was Aunt Millie, took her with her to go see how her mom, she may be dying for all we know. And she's got to run to see her mother. And it's kind of a tragedy, kind of a situation. And she basically, who's going to take care of the family? She's so worried about the kids and everything. And what is the older girl's name?
Her name's Marion, I think.
Marion?
Yeah, Marion.
Marion, played by Cecilia Parker, right?
Right.
She's the older sister of Andy Hardy, and she thinks Andy's just like a little monster. And she's going to, Mom, don't worry, I'm going to make sure the dad and Andy are fed and keep the house clean and everything. And so it basically, that news of her leaving kind of spared Judge Hardy from having to tell Emily, I hired a cook and you don't have to cook for us anymore. It kind of solved its own problem because she happened to have to run away now. So the cook is coming just in time. But
and there's other dilemmas that are solved within the script too, very, very cleverly.
For instance,
how he finally gets the money for his car.
Well, from his pop.
Yeah, because we'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that. But okay, so I think the next thing we should take a quick look at, it's not a long scene, it's like 2 minutes. It's where, Andy meets Betsy. It's like 2.5 minutes. But this is where, in this series, Andy Rooney gets to finally meet Betsy Booth. And like I said, she played in 3 of these movies as Betsy Booth. I think the next one was like 2 or 3 years later. He did 3 or 4 other Andy Hardy movies, but Betsy Booth was not in all of them. But now she's kind of almost starstruck with him. He's the older, boy next door, and she's a young little girl, and she's a singer, as you heard in that clip right there. So I think we should take a look at that, Barbie. What do you think?
Okay. Yes, definitely.
Okay, Andy Hardy meets Betsy Booth, Mickey and Judy.
Mother left a note for you on the kitchen pad to take some preserves over to the Drapers. Don't forget.
Oh, yes. They have a visitor. New playmate for you.
Playmate? Gee, Dad, what do you think I do with my spare time? Dress dolls or something?
Excuse me, Andrew, a companion. Their granddaughter from New York.
A new girl?
Yes.
How old is she?
Oh, I think about 12 or 13.
Just a child. I just realized something, Dad. I'm older than my years. Must have been Washington that done it.
Did it?
Did it?
Nevertheless, I'm afraid you'll have to humiliate yourself and deliver the preserves. I understand the little girl next door sings.
12 years old and sings?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Do. I'll go, Grandma.
How do you do?
Good morning. I'm Betsy Booth. Won't you come in?
My mother just sent these over to your grandmother.
You're Andy Hardy, aren't you?
Uh-huh. I live right next door.
I sing, you know.
I know, I heard you.
Oh, that wasn't singing. That was only practicing.
Well, you go right on and practice. Don't let me bother you.
Oh, it's no bother. I love to. I mean, I love to sing for you.
Some other time. You just keep on practicing. Music isn't the most important thing in the world to me.
I play tennis, and I swim.
Swell. Well, look, I gotta be going. I gotta do something for my dad. He wants me to wash the car. I mean, tune it up. He wants me to wash the carburetor and the spark plugs. I might even look at the motor.
I bet after you work on it, it'll pass every car on the road.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Well, I gotta be running.
Well, maybe, could I help you?
No, it's a very special job. My father won't even do it. I'll see you later.
All right.
Goodbye.
I'll never be able to get a man, much less hold him. No glamour. No glamour at all.
Betsy, who was that?
Some of Mrs. Hardy's preserves for you, Granny. No glamour. That's my trouble.
Okay, Barbie.
Yeah, I know. Well, I like how she says no glamour and then she looks down.
Right. Well, that was kind of like always her lifelong struggle, is she could sing, but she didn't see herself as glamorous or beautiful or anything, and she always struggled with that. And as typical in most of these Judy and Mickey things, she's kind of wanting him, not all of them, but most of them, and he's looking at other girls and into other girls, and she's just the pal. She's the good buddy, and she plays it so well.
Well, their scene, I mean, they do seem so natural. I mean, even without knowing what we know about them, it's so lovely and so real.
Yeah, and what happens next in the movie is you were alluding to just a moment ago. By the way, let me just stop for a second here. We did get some nice questions coming in from Jeff. We appreciate all those questions, Jeff, or all those comments. He's commenting, of course, about the Andy Griffith Show, what a wonderful show it was, and how he original skit as sheriff in the old Danny Thomas show. He'd love to see Sergeant Bilko again, and he wants to know why they're giving Pete Rose a reality TV show.
They can.
I didn't know that Pete Rose was getting a reality show. Jimmy Stewart, he says, one of the all-time greats in cinemas. Which, of course, obviously everybody loves Jimmy Stewart. I used to see when I worked at Harrah's at Tahoe. He was great on the old Dean Martin roasts. I actually pulled some clips from the old Dean Martin show. I don't maybe not have time to show them tonight, but anyway, I pulled those for tonight. He got to meet Bill Cosby. But thank you so much for your participation tonight, Jeff.
Really good.
We appreciate that. Thank you. But going back to now, Love Finds Andy Hardy. A scene we're going to skip, of course, is where he still needs to make $8 to pick up that car. And his friend Beezy Anderson, has to go away for Christmas. And he had already kind of promised his girl, which was
Lana Turner.
But Lana Turner plays the part of Cynthia Potter. And so Cynthia Potter is kind of his girl, and he's going to take her to the dance, but all of a sudden, he's got to go away with his family. So he makes a deal with Andy Hardy saying, listen, I'll pay you. First, he offers to pay him 2 bits, which is 25 cents. And then he says 4 bits and then 6 bits, which is 75 cents. To basically, will you do me a favor and take Cynthia to the dance? Because if you date her, then that'll keep all the other guys away from her. And he says, are you kidding? Is that all she's worth to you? I'll do it for $8. So Beezy Potter agrees, I'll pay you $8 if you date her to keep all the other guys away from her. And since his girl, Polly, was going out of town, he needed a date anyway. So this is how he's going to make the $8. But Beezy doesn't have the money, and he promises he's getting it, and he's going to mail it to him in time for the 23rd so he can pay for his car. So that's the strictly business deal that he's going to make. And he immediately goes over to Cynthia Potter's house, and she's like super easy. And she immediately says, "Sure, Andy." And she starts kissing him. And, Polly, of course, she doesn't even want to touch him hardly, but Cynthia's kind of all over him. As Lana Turner, a young Lana Turner. She doesn't even look like her, really.
No, she doesn't.
But nevertheless, we're gonna skip that scene, just because in the interest of time, there's so much more to show here. But to me, I think one of the scenes we should show. If you want to skip it, I'll skip it because we have a lot to show here tonight. But and we're getting late already. But one of the all-time classic scenes, in my opinion, is the two of them at the drugstore drinking the malts.
Oh, definitely. I love that scene. It's so cute.
Right. What happens is when Mickey Rooney as Andy Hardy goes away with Beezy, because he has to get out of earshot of his family, to make this deal that he's going to pay him $8. Beezy wants to talk to him in private. So they walk a block away, and he tells him, "Okay, now what's the problem?" He says, "All right, you got to date my girl, and I'll pay you the money," and all this stuff. Well, what he was supposed to be doing was washing the car. So, and again, the neighbor, of course, is Betsy Booth, and she looks out the window, and when she's looking out the window at the car and he's gone, Andy Hardy's older sister, Marion, says hi, and they say hi to each other out the window. She says hi to the little neighbor, Betsy Booth, and Betsy Booth says, "Is Andy home?" He had just left, I guess, and he had just told her, "I have to wash my dad's car or work on it," he said. And so Marion, the older sister of Andy, says he's got to wash Dad's car, and if he doesn't wash the car, he's going to catch it, meaning he's going to be in big trouble. So Betsy Booth, anxious to please, of course, Andy Hardy, she's smitten with him already just from that one meeting. She gets her mom's chauffeur, to wash the car for him.
Love it.
Yeah, she's got money or whatever. She might be only 13 or 14, but, she's a smart girl.
They're from New York. She and the mother live in New York because the mother's a Broadway star.
Correct. Exactly. Nicely done, Barbie. So when Andy comes back from his meeting with Beezy, there's his dad's car, and it's all washed. And he can't believe it. And he said, and there's Betsy, and he says, "Did you see anybody come by here and wash this car?" And he said, "Oh, I had my mom's chauffeur do it." Your mom's chauffeur? He says, "Well, now I have to repay you. Let me take you to the drugstore for a milkshake." And then this is that scene. Did I set that up okay?
Yes. The thing about Andy Hardy is he manages to do the right thing. He just manages to every time. Yeah,
he does. He's really a gentleman. He just gets himself into hot water with all these girls all the time. But okay, so he takes little Betsy Booth, the little girl next door, the granddaughter, for a milkshake at the drugstore.
Hello. Say, did you notice anything around here about washing this car?
Yes, I have Mother's chauffeur do it.
Mother's what?
Mother's chauffeur. I heard your sister say you'd catch it.
You've got a chauffeur?
Mother has. The one that drives the town car.
Town car? Here?
Sure, it brought me. How do you think I got here?
How do I think she got here? What kind of a car? How many cylinders?
200.
200? Listen, no car has 200 cylinders.
Hasn't it?
No.
Oh, then it's 200 horsepower and only 12 cylinders.
Only 12 cylinders and 200 horsepower. Children that don't know what's what trusted with town cars. Betsy, your name is Betsy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Betsy, I'd like to repay the favor. I'd like to take you down to the drugstore and buy you an ice cream soda.
When, Andy?
Uh-huh. But it's kind of far and it's liable to snow before we get there, and Dad's going to use our car.
Well, Mother's chauffeur can drive us down before he starts for Chicago.
That's right. I never thought of that. Let's go. Yes, sir, some boat, all right. The radiator cap alone would make you feel like you was a millionaire.
it be?
I want a chocolate soda with vanilla ice cream, please.
Make it 2, Betty.
You bet.
Yes, sir, there's something about a high-class ice cream soda that makes a fellow feel as though he's wasting time with meat and vegetables. Ain't it the truth? Hello, Cynthia.
How do you do, Mr. Hardy?
Hey, Cynthia. Wait a minute. Cynthia.
Pardon me, Mr. Hardy. I'm not in the habit of being practically knocked down by casual acquaintances.
Casual acquaintances? What are you mad about?
Well, there are plenty of other boys I could go around with.
Oh, no, you can't go around with anybody else except me.
I don't even have to go to the dance with you.
Oh, yes, you do. You promised.
I wasn't crazy about Beezy, but at least he didn't go out with other girls.
Oh, her? Oh, she's just a little kid visiting next door. Dad told me to be nice to her.
Oh.
It won't happen again. I'll see you every day, every minute. I'll monopolize you.
This afternoon?
Uh-huh. What'll we do?
Well, Beezy could always think of something for us to do.
Well, we could go down to the gym and watch basketball practice.
I don't like basketball.
Oh, I used to like to roller skate.
I don't like to roller skate.
I don't suppose you'd like to play a set of tennis, huh?
I'd love to. Oh, I have the loveliest new sports outfit. Well, you'll be at my house at 2 o'clock.
Excuse me for running away, Betsy.
All right.
You see, I can't afford to fight with Cynthia.
She your girl?
No, but I gotta be nice to her till after Christmas.
Are you expecting her to give you some sort of special present?
No. Look, this is a secret. I bought a car. That is, I paid $12 down on it, and I promised to pay 8 more by the 23rd. That's why I gotta be nice to Cynthia.
Well, I don't get it.
Well, you see, Cynthia's really Beezy Anderson's girl, and he's away, and he promised to pay me $8 to keep all the other fellas away from her.
Oh.
She's just an installment on a car to me. Polly Benedict's my real girl, but she's away, too.
Oh.
Sometimes I wonder if it's all worthwhile. $20.
Mother said in case I needed extras. So, if you wouldn't mind, Andy, I'd like to pay for the sodas.
No, I asked you.
Please?
Why? I don't do things that way.
Andy, you need that $8 pretty badly, don't you?
You're darn tootin' I do.
I'd love to give you the $8, Andy.
No, I couldn't take money from a woman.
Not even if she's just a child?
I couldn't even borrow it from you.
But you wouldn't have to be nice to Cynthia.
You don't understand. Polly being away, the girl I take to the dance has got to be sensational.
Oh.
And I'll bet Cynthia's got a sensational evening dress. No, I can't afford to fight with Cynthia. Not a man in my position.
Then it isn't the $8.
Well, it's both the $8 and Cynthia. I gotta take Cynthia to the dance to get the $8 to get the car, and I gotta have a car to take anybody to the dance.
Well, then you won't really enjoy taking Cynthia?
Well, even if she dances like a horse, it's an awful long ride home in the dark.
Oh.
I love that scene, Barbie.
So maybe he doesn't always manage to do the right thing.
No, but it's this whole thing with Mickey and Judy. This is kind of the core of their whole relationship in all their movies, isn't it?
So it's so great, and he brings her up, and then he takes her right back down.
And her timing is just so good at that.
She's so darling.
I know. All right, listen, if you're watching the show out there, we do have a good audience out there right now. Give us a call. Ask us any question you want to ask us about this movie or anything else. And we're giving away a free watch tonight. And so far, we have a few contestants in there. We're going to give it to the best question or the best participation. And you have a chance to win that by giving us a call tonight. All right. Now, too many clips, not enough time, Barbie. So the question is, where do we go from here? You don't have that list of questions. I mean, the list of clips. I can tell.
Well, we have to see Judy sing.
Of course, she's got.
And we have to. I think we should see when Andy solves the problem of the radio thing and that whole family thing, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an important scene in this movie. It doesn't involve Judy or Betsy Booth, but you're right. Classic. I love that scene. All right, well, let's see. The next one I have in order, we're going to skip it, though, is where we see Andy and Cynthia. And, of course, this is where just a moment ago she said, be over my house. They end up going to the swimming pool, and she doesn't want to jump in and get her hair wet or anything.
Oh,
and
she's a pain.
she's a pain, and all she wants to do is, basically hug and kiss. And she's just smooching him like crazy. When he walked Polly through the woods, she didn't even want to be kissed. But when he walked through the woods with Cynthia, she's like all over him, and he's got lipstick all over his face and everything. That's what she's into. And they're two different types of women. And like I said, I would have never even recognized that was Lana Turner. But she's probably a teenager there, I would think.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So anyway, we see that scene of Andy and Cynthia, and then from there we see Andy go over to Judy's to Betsy Booth's house on the way home, and she has a Christmas gift for him, and it's it's an ornament for his new car, and it's a really nice ornament. He loves it, and then as he leaves, to go home. That's where we see Betsy Booth sing a song. And she doesn't sing a lot in this movie. There's only 3 songs in the whole movie. But she sings in between. And I think to me, it's my favorite song of hers in this movie. Do you know that song?
I do. And I think it's a lovely little song. And it's right. It captures her character.
And have you ever sung in between? No.
No, should I? If I do a tribute, though, I will.
A tribute to Judy. That's not bad. That would be great. All right. By the way, I had contact with Connie today, and Connie is going to do another show here on Chillin'. She's going to do in October, and she said she wants me to suggest a few Judy songs she wants to do for us. So
that's a voice.
Yeah, Mike knows Connie very well.
That was a fun show we did. I'd love to see her again.
Yeah. So I think I want to give her The Man That Got Away. But anyway, going back to here, this is In Between. And this is right after, once again, Judy's heart is kind of Betsy Booth. Her heart's broken just a little bit because she's not quite old enough to really, go out with boys, and she's past the age of being a little kid. She's kind of in between. So
right.
I think this was I think it was a Roger Eden song, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. I think he actually wrote this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So here we go.
I hear a voice within me say, hide yourself behind a screen. You shouldn't be heard, you shouldn't be seen. You're just an awful in-between. I'm past the stage of doll and carriage. I'm not the age to think of marriage. I'm too old for toys, and I'm too young for boys. I'm just an in-between. I'm not a child, all children bore me. I'm not grown-ups ignore me. And in every sense, I'm just on a fence. I'm just an in-between. I'll be glad when Mama lets me go to dances and have romances. I'll be glad to have a party dress that boys will adore, a dress that touches the floor. I'm sick and tired of bedtime stories. I'm so inspired by love and glories, but I guess it's no use. I still get Mother Goose. I'm just an in-between. I'm allowed to go to picture shows. That is, if Nurse is feeling able. But we only go to Mickey Mouse. I'm not allowed Clark Gable. It's such an imposition for a girl who's got ambition to be an in-between. My dad says I should bother more about my lack of grammar. The only thing that bothers me is my lack of glamour. Why, if I could use a lipstick and a powder puff, who knows, I might be Garbo in the rough instead of in between. I'll be glad when Uncle Jim can't call me precious child. That simply drives me wild. I'll be glad to have a date that doesn't grow on a tree, a date that's not history. I'll be so glad when I have grown some, for by myself I get so lonesome, and I hope and pray for the day when I'll be sweet 16. Then I won't have to be an
Wow, I just checked, Barbie. That was words and music by Roger Edens, and of course, I think he was the musical director for MGM at the time, wasn't he?
Well, I think yes, and I think those are very good words. It's a lovely song.
Yeah, and I think is my memory's coming back. I think it was Roger Edens that championed Judy. This was a year before Wizard of Oz for the Dorothy part.
Well, you have to have somebody like that. I mean, that's always what propels somebody to stardom. There's one person that just is pushing, and that's how he was for her.
Yeah. It was like, Mr. Mayor, we don't need to pay exorbitant amount of money to bring her in here. You know, Judy Garland can handle that. But in any case, great call. I know, Mike, I know you've got people out here waiting and it's getting
My
late.
entourage is waiting. The limo's pulled up just now, and my 80.
Wow, do you have a chauffeur like Betsy Booth?
Yeah, my 87 Dodge Dart. No.
Classic Dodge Dart.
Exactly.
So
I had a
Mike-
fun time. I really had a fun time. It's an honor and a pleasure, and I want to do it again.
Absolutely. Well, you know.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Thank you, Mike.
And Barbara, I had a question for you about when they film those things. You know, did she lip sync right there on the set, or does she actually sing?
She probably sang and then went back in the booth and sang it better later.
Wow.
Probably did a scratch vocal with the camera on her, and then later went back into the booth and did it full out.
Too bad they didn't have like behind the scenes camera back then taking footage.
I know.
Would have been great. Hey, it's been fabulous. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye, Mike.
Thank you. Take care. Good night, everybody.
Okay, Mike, take care. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Barbie, so we got at least a chance to see Judy sing. We're going to kind of try and rush to the end here now on this particular movie. There's so much here. We have, I know you don't have a list of the clips, Barbie.
Well, why don't we just show the end and then just encourage everyone to take a look at this, to get this. They're
Okay.
available.
Yeah, the ham radio scene is almost 6 minutes, so it's kind of long.
Yeah, I mean that they'll enjoy that when they purchase the film.
Yeah, the importance of the ham radio scene, it just shows you the development of technology these days. To get a message to Canada took, like 6 hours or 8 hours and get a response. And it was really amazing how you had even a 12-year-old kid on the other end of the ham radio that was doing it. It's a great scene, and this is a great movie. And like Barbie says, encourage you all to, go out there and get this movie. And you're right, Barbie. I think the best thing to do is probably just, cut to the end. We're missing a lot of great scenes here where Andy really gets in a hot spot with all these girls. And then all of a sudden he has two girls. Polly's coming back from her trip, so she's expecting to go to the dance, and he's got a date with Cynthia. So he's got two girls and no car because he doesn't have the $8 because Beezy said he met somebody else, and he says, you can have Cynthia, and he doesn't have the money anyway. So now he's got two girls to date, no car, no money. He doesn't know what to do. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden, both girls dump him. and he's got no girls and no car, and it's a big jam, and the guy, from the car lot, he's going to bring an order to show cause for the money, and so Andy's going to be in big trouble. And ultimately, when Andy, with his friend Jimmy, helps his dad, Judge Hardy, get a message to his mom, Judge Hardy kind of lightens up and says, all right, Andy, I'm going to go down there tomorrow, and I'm going to pay the $8 and get him the car. And so his dad goes to buy him the car because his son proved that he was a responsible young man and everything. So now he has a car, but he has no date because the two girls, once Polly found out about Cynthia Potter, how could you even think about going out with that awful redheaded creature? She says, she ends up making a date with an older guy. So now Andy's not even going to go to the dance now. And of course, old Betsy Booth, little Judy, she's quick on the spot. She had her mom from Chicago or from New York, I guess, I don't know where, send her a dress, like a gown, so she could feel all grown up, so that Andy could still go. Now, little Judy, little Betsy Booth, she gets to go as Andy's date to the dance. And at first, Andy's almost embarrassed because he's bringing a little kid to the dance. But when he sees her in the dress, he's kind of excited and everything. So he ends up taking little Betsy Booth to the dance. And that's the scene that we're going to see right now where, it's called It Never Rains But When It Pours, Ronnie. Okay, and this is where she sings a song and everything. Let's check it out.
Great.
I'll tell you about that later, Al.
Well, of course, this is not like the swell shindigs in Washington. Boy, they're so crowded with ambassadors, every time you do a Big Apple, you insult half of Europe.
I think it's grand.
Well, it's pretty swell.
Do we seem very provincial, Dennis, after all the wonderful parties you played for?
Of course not. I think the party's charming. Hope they like our music.
Hello, Andy. How are you, kid? Hello, Gene. Hello, Andy. Hi, this evening. Fine, Dick.
Good evening, Andy. Glad to see you.
Freddie.
Say, that girl, one in blue, I've seen her in New York.
You mean that infant trying to look grown up? Well, I don't know. But she certainly isn't in very good company.
I'm sure I know her. Of course, Martha Booth's daughter. Excuse me a moment. Pardon me. Aren't you Betsy Booth?
Well, yes, I am.
Say, wait a minute. If this guy's trying to get fresh, just say the word.
I beg your pardon, sir, but I know Miss Booth. Your mother brought you to my father's apartment in New York.
Who's your father?
Caldwell Hunt, you know, the composer. I'm Dennis Hunt. Remember Dennis Hunt's harmonist?
Oh, certainly. You played for me to sing your signature song. Gee, we had fun.
What are you doing out here, Betsy?
Oh, just visiting.
Hey, listen, help me to start the party off with a bang. Come up and sing the opening number.
This is a dance, Mr. Hunt.
Well, it'll be a better dance when Betsy warms it up a bit. Come on, Betsy, and sing.
All right, excuse me, Andy.
Hey, Betsy, a lot of my friends are here. Do you think you've practiced enough?
Nonsense. You'll be a sensation.
Oh, I've always wanted you to hear me sing, Andy. I'd love to.
Swell. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's not Christmas until midnight, but here's a Christmas present for everybody that just has to be opened. May I present Miss Betsy Booth, daughter of that famous musical comedy star Martha Booth. Miss Booth, by special request, my own special request, will sing for us, It Never Rains But When It Pours.
Did you ever wake up in the morning and grumble as you tumble out of bed? You stub your toe, ouch. You hit your elbow, ooh. You bump your head, oh. You step on a tack and you let out a howl. There's soap in your eyes and you can't find the towel. You try to comb your hair but can't arrange it. Spill orange juice on your dress and have to change it. Then all day long, everything you touch goes wrong. Teacher told us when this happens to never whine or wail. The same thing happens in life, but on a very much larger scale. It never rains but what it pours. lady luck should happen to desert you, a bit of rain is never gonna hurt you. So wait and the skies will be blue. It never rains, but what it pours. So what if all your troubles come in bunches? Keep sticking to your silly little hunches, and the sun will come shining through. Bide your time and keep on humming. Don't you frown and sit around and weep. Wait your turn, your day is coming, and you'll be there on top of the heap. It never rains, but it pours. May as well get all your worries over. From then on, you're gonna be in clover. Smile when you should cry. For every cloud, there'll be a rainbow. There'll be a sunbeam for every raindrop.
Well, you know, Andy Hardy's all excited because it turns out, and what we didn't see there is, or maybe we could show. We're not going to show it, but she ends up being. They have Judy as Betsy Booth do the grand march. She's like the girl of the dance and everything, the little girl, and Andy Hardy gets to walk and lead the march and all that stuff. And the two girls basically had, you know, Lana Turner and you know, as Cynthia Potter and Polly had kind of dumped him, and he ends up going with the star of the dance. It turns out, the little kid. So it's kind of a funny ending, you know. And
That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, you know, even though he's driving home with Betsy, who turns out to be the star of the night from the dance, he's still a little depressed or let down because he really does love Polly.
And she was with a very handsome older man.
Yes, exactly.
But he doesn't realize one very important thing.
Oh, he doesn't know that that guy is her cousin.
Exactly.
He thinks that's her date, but it turns out that Polly had her cousin take her to the dance.
Right.
But anyway, you know, Betsy realizes that he's not happy because even though she had a great time, she realizes that Andy Hardy is really in love with Polly, and so Betsy Booth goes out of her way to kind of smooth it over with Polly and get them back together. So it's a happy ending. He gets Polly, and
Mrs. Hardy comes home.
And Mrs. Hardy comes home, and they celebrate Christmas together. So it's a happy ending. It's a great movie, and you know, Mike has already departed, and we end every show, Barbie, as you know, with Always Chasing Rainbows. So I know we've had a lot of Judy Garland tonight, but there was one more song in that movie. By the way, I did check on this one. It Never Rains But When It Pours was words and music by Mac Gordon.
Oh, yeah. He wrote a lot in Hollywood. He started in New York, and then he went out and was partnered with Revel, R-E-V-E-L.
Yeah.
I forget his first name. And they wrote a lot of things together.
Yeah, and including this one, it was words and music by Mac Gordon and Harry Revel.
Harry Revel, yeah.
You're absolutely right. And just for whatever it's worth, you know, that's my good friend down in Arizona, Greg. Mac Gordon is his grandfather. So.
Oh, I want to meet him.
Yeah, Greg Mac Gordon is his name, and that's his middle name is Mac after his grandfather, and his father lives in L.A. and his father is still getting very, very rich off of the residuals from all of his published music. Songs like At Last. Recently recorded by Celine Dion and many others are still making money off these songs. My friend Greg doesn't see any of it, though. His dad doesn't give him a dime. But he says to his son, you know, you have to, you know, learn to make it on your own. But yet he's still making a fortune off his father's.
Well, that's fair. He's nothing like Judge Hardy, apparently.
I mean, a lot of this kind of stuff is so typical in Los Angeles. You'd be surprised. You know,
I know.
So many families fight over money. I can't relate to it. But, you know, Anyway, that was written by Matt Gordon. Of course, You Make Me Feel So Young, another great Matt Gordon song. But anyway, I think, Ronnie, hang with me, Barbie. We're going to wrap up the show here with one more song. We're gonna go to Always Chasing Rainbows. As is our custom every week, we like to end every show with, a Judy Garland number. And tonight it's, in the Classic Film Zone, we featured a Mickey and Judy movie, so a little bit unique here. But a number that I would have liked to have shown in the Classic Film Zone, but we kind of just chopped it up so that it'll kind of conveniently fit into the end of the show here. From the same movie, Love Finds Andy Hardy. It's going to be right after she sang It Never Rains, But When It Pours, she sang a quick one, about 3 minutes. It's Meet the Beat of My Heart. You remember that one, Barbie?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a song that you haven't done that song yet either?
No.
No.
These are pretty obscure songs, but it would be well worth doing a bunch of songs from the Andy Hardy movies.
But you like to do obscure songs. I mean, I know you do a lot of the standards, but you do some obscure ones yourself.
I very much do. This would very, very, very well fit.
Okay, well, here it is. Meet the Beat of My Heart from Love Finds Andy Hardy.
Meet the beat of my heart. Meet the reason I beam so. Why I am happy and seem so delighted, excited, ignited with the lovely glow. Meet the beat of my heart. Meet the time and the weather, the tick, tick, tick that holds me together. Without him beside me, I never could go on. Why do birdies sing tweet, tweet, tweet? What started spring, tra-la-la? Oh, if you want to know the inspiration, I would like you to meet the beat of my heart. Meet the song I'm rehearsing. You're gonna meet heaven in person when you meet that throbbing beat, the beat of my heart.
Well, there it is, Barbie. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been way too long. Thank you, everybody there. Thank you, Ronnie, Stacia.
Now you're
good to see Mike. It was lovely.
You're performing somewhere next week, right?
I'm performing on Saturday night in a kind of a strange venue. It's called the Maple Grove. It's a cemetery, actually, where a lot of famous people are buried in Queens. And they have a concert hall there, believe it or not. So we are doing a jazz concert.
Isn't that very close to where Louis Armstrong's house was?
Yeah, it is quite close to Louis Armstrong's house. And in this particular cemetery, Jimmy Rushing is buried, and Vincent Euman, who wrote a lot of beautiful music, Tea for Two, No No Nanette, all those things. So we're doing those songs. And it's a concert series they have. It's only in New York, I guess you'd say.
Well, Barbie, just remember one thing, okay? You always have an open invitation here, so anytime you let me know you're available, you're in, okay?
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much. I'll
Okay.
talk to you very soon.
All right, Barbie.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. All right, now we have a little business here to attend to, and that, of course, is the watch giveaway. We've kind of talked it over here. We've decided unanimously it's going to be Steve from Leonard, Minnesota. You win the watch. It was Steve, right? Yeah. Okay, Steve. So what you have to do, Steve, is send us an email to contact@acorn.tv. Give us your, full shipping address, and we'll make sure that that watch gets shipped out to you. Okay. Send us an email to contact@acorn.tv. Ronnie, you want to flash that address real quick? Yeah, exactly. Just remember, Steve, it's contact@acorn.tv. We need your shipping address where you want the watch sent. And once again, thank you to Mark from ZuluTimeZone.com for donating that giveaway tonight. Okay, excellent. Well, I think that's it. Another show in the can. Always keep chasing those rainbows. Never give up. I'm Larry Megan. Until next week, we got a great show next week. Peace, love, and all good things.
Chill with Larry Megan.